Hey everyone, Vanessa Bartlett here with you, and I've got the pleasure of interviewing Matt O'Neill, who's one of Australia's leading dietitians, so it's great to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me, Vanessa.
And I'd like to share with all our viewers a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in the industry, and how long have you been doing this?
Well, how long?
How old are you, Matt? No.
No, I'm nearly half a century going there, I'm close to that, nearly getting pensioner insurance. But I eat well,
okay,
you know,
well,
and I exercise.
That's why you look young.
So that's good, and that's what I've got so much stuff to share with people as a result. But yeah, I've been a dietitian for about 25 years, and so I've worked for the Consumers Association, footy teams, travelled the world teaching people. And I guess I know what works with diet, and it's not just prescribing diets and that sort of thing. It's sort of like knowing what are these day-to-day strategies and what actually works in the real world. So, you know, and I've probably helped 25,000 people, you know, get on the right diet.
Fantastic.
So I'd say that I probably know both that technical stuff accurately in a world of quick fixes and crazy stuff, as well as understanding the challenges that people face as well.
And that's the thing, the problem with quick fixes, I know we've had a chat before, is just there's so much flooding the marketplace. Is it difficult for people now to actually get their head straight and go, what advice do I actually follow in terms of fat loss and dieting? Yeah,
it's real, and I get questions all the time. Like somebody might be starting, you know, a diet with me, and they're questioning, should I be doing detox as well? Should I be doing this? And I almost think, wait a sec, we agreed to do it the healthy eating way. But look, you can be forgiven if you're confused, and you might have tried numerous diets and you go, you know what, I'm a bit hesitant. You know, my confidence has taken a bit of a dent because basically all these people have like lied to me in terms of what works and what doesn't and that. And I guess now is potentially a time for people to say, well, enough's enough, I'll get stuck into the scientifically accurate nutrition so I can get results.
Great. And the good thing is it's not so complicated like we think. So just a quick question though, how much of what we look like is actually related to food? Because I've heard, being a fitness trainer in this industry for many years, people kind of say it's 60-40, it's 70% is what you eat, 30% is the exercise. Is that true? Look,
diet and exercise are both important, and you're going to get different benefits out of both there. But I have this saying that exercise helps you build muscles, but diet lets you see them. So essentially what that means is if you want to feel toned, you want to feel fit, you've really got to pay attention to your diet, because it's so easy to undo a workout. I mean, for example, you can have a workout which burns, let's say, 250 calories or so. You can go home, or you can go to the fridge and you can have a muffin that's 500 calories.
Gone. Workout done.
You don't have to be an accountant to know that maybe you've put on calories as a result of that. So you do have to control what you eat, and when you do, I say 1 + 1 = 3. You're going to get those breakthrough results. And I always say that people, you might, let's be honest, a bit podgy and that sort of thing. You've got this doona over this, maybe this lean bodybuilder underneath there, and that's what we want to find.
Yep, sure. So, so it is kind of like a 70-30 thing, 60-40 thing?
I'd say that there are a lot of people exercising a lot, but if they're not concentrating on their diet, you're getting fitter, you're getting healthier, you're getting all those benefits, but you're not going to see the results you really want.
You won't get the shape,
exactly,
the definition that you're after. What does it actually take to transform your body then? Is it something that we should look at in terms of calorie counting? Is that important, or do we focus, rather than counting numbers and calories, do we focus on fat content, carb content, or do we simply focus on eating fresh food?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What's a better mindset?
Well, I know, wouldn't it be good if you could just say, it's simple, just eat healthy? You know, you know what's healthy. People will be listening and watching.
People kind of know what that is.
They'll know what's healthy.
What is it? How do you do it?
But is it low carb, or is it high fat? Is it high protein, and that sort of thing? And in summary, it's probably you know, a moderate fat, higher protein, and what I'd say is limited carbohydrate diet. So let's say what we're not doing. You don't have to go low carb. You don't have to do that to get results. You don't have to go low fat, because like olive oil and monounsaturated fats are healthy. Nuts, which have got fats in them, are healthy. And protein, probably a slightly higher level, but not like bodybuilders go and that sort of thing. So you might go, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's actually the putting it together part. So it's how many vegetables, how much dairy, how much starches, how much healthy oils, nuts and that. And that's what I do. Essentially, I prescribe those optimized amounts, which means when you know those targets, you don't have to calorie count, because you know it's with your food groups and it's worked out. And what we know now is that it's not just having a low-calorie diet, but it's getting all the nourishment within that as well. And there's a real science to that to know. And that's, I guess, my big thing. What I do is I help nourish you with less calories, which helps out with all those hormonal issues.
Yes, and that's the problem. So many people now actually have hormone issues, something that even I've experienced, having adrenal fatigue with heightened cortisol levels. Does that affect fat loss? And for females as well, you know, what's your take on that?
I think that I have this thing where if you undereat, let's say you cut your diet down too much, so you've been on a detox or a diet, your body responds with a stress reaction because you're starving yourself. Cortisol levels go up. Now, fair enough, you might lose a bit of weight, but it will then become to a point where it'll be resistant. So you'll hit a plateau sooner. If you're overstressing, and if you're trying really hard to lose weight, you can get wrapped up in it and stress you. That snowballs the cortisol as well. Then if you're not sleeping as well, so if you're undersleeping, then you can see where we're going here. You know, but if you balance those hormones, so the steps roughly are: first you have to like re-energize your diet with the right foods optimized. That helps the physiology of the hormones. Then you've got to manage your appetite to manage the appetite hormones. Ghrelin is one that sends you to eat foods. And then it's...
So that's the feeling you get when you're like, I really want to eat.
When you're really hungry, there's a hormone called ghrelin. I call it the gremlin. And it sends you to the fridge. So you've almost got to listen to your stomach, and you've got to say, am I full, am I not? So there's a bit of awareness that comes with that.
Should we be allowing ourselves to get hungry or starving, or should we always feel a little full? That's something else that I think is confusing.
I think there's a lot of people who don't let themselves get too hungry, because as soon as they feel that hunger, they think, I need a snack. I better go to the fridge and that. And I have this thing called driving with your fat loss fuel light on. And you know, in your car, when the little orange fuel light comes on, you've got about 80 kilometres. You don't have to freak out, go to the service station and get fuel. And I think what happens is some people freak out and they go, oh, my orange hunger light has come on, I better go to the fridge. I might run low on energy. And you won't. So when you feel that first sign of hunger, the orange light is on, but you can still go for a while. Think of before dinner. You come home, you go straight to the fridge. As well as just being a habit thing, you load up on some calories. You could have waited half an hour for dinner, and when you do, your appetite hormones are all in place. So when you manage your hormones, they then look after you. That's
really interesting. I think that's really helpful for people too. That's the next thing. Does eating at night affect our ability to lose weight then? So if you've had dinner, or if you're eating late dinners, for instance, is that a true fact? Or
let's tick it off. Firstly, if you've eaten all your allocated calories, you know, that might have been worked out for you in your nutrition plan.
And that comes back to planning and getting it done.
Exactly, but let's say you've blown out at afternoon because you had a coffee and a muffin. You've had your calories for the day. So if you go home and have dinner and then you have another dessert, then all those calories, which is like backloading calories, are all on top of your needs. You're going to gain fat. The other thing there is, in the evening, what we know is that if you overload on carbohydrates, it particularly overloads a hormone called insulin, which is responsible for lowering your blood sugars. And if you don't keep your blood sugars lower, you'll store more fat. So basically you want to eat more of your carbohydrates in the earlier part of the day. Think muesli and milk for breakfast. You know, one wrap with salad at lunch, and then in the evening you might want to have, say, protein and veg. So it could be fried chicken breast on the skillet with some fried vegetables in there, which are just green, orange, red and yellow, not your starchy ones like potato or so.
So that's the stuff that would get stored more so and cause body fat gain.
We're
having, say, potatoes instead of broccoli with the chicken.
That's true.
That's what you want to switch up.
Exactly, but remember, it's not going low carb. We're talking about just limited carbs. So it's the right quality carbs at the right time. But in the evening you probably ease off. You just ease off a bit from that. And generally, if you're eating really well up to that, you feel fantastic anyway. So your cravings will go down.
That's a byproduct of doing it the right way from the get-go, isn't it? Does sugar cause weight gain?
Well, sugar was not even looked at for about 20 years. Remember we went through the low-fat 1990s or so? They have those shows on TV that show you the naughty 90s or so. I mean, that was when we went low-fat. We took our eye off sugar at the time, so we ended up with low-fat muffins full of sugar. And now it's come back to bite us in that. So sugar matters, because if you overload on sugar, not only is it empty calories and there's no nourishment, it also then spikes that insulin. And if your insulin hormones are high, you're not going to be losing weight. So it doesn't mean you have to go sugar-free everything, because fruit has fructose. That's natural fruit sugar. Yogurt has lactose, which is milk sugar. And they're great foods to be including. And they're also sweet. So you need to get your sweet fix from natural whole foods.
Right.
It's all the added sugar that you've got to try and eliminate. And once your taste buds change, it becomes easier.
That's great. So then I guess it's not really sugar that's the problem, it's the processed sugar that we're having and the amounts, and maybe not getting the right nutritional plan in first, and that way we won't need the sugar, we won't have the cravings as much.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, some people take the approach of, let's just cut out all sugar and you'll be healthy. But I tend to think if you just take that approach, is all you learn is how to cut out sugar. And sometimes you can go too far. So you cut out grapes because maybe they've got more sugar than a banana in them or something. But you don't learn about, well, what is my optimum balance of all food groups to nourish and to balance my hormones. So that's the approach I guess people are hearing me say.
Yeah, absolutely. Does so we've talked about stress before. What's the effect of stress on our ability to lose fat? If, so let's say we are eating really well and we've got everything under wraps, but at the same time you're living a stressful life, is that going to affect your results? Is that something we need to look at outside of nutrition as well? Yeah,
look, there's two ways, and it's an increasing issue, because you could be eating really well, you could be exercising, and let's say you're exercising because you're making time for workouts and that, which may mean you're cutting out your sleep to do that, and at first you think it's good, but then you get stressed or run down as a result of that, and to get the complete results that you deserve, you've got to bring stress and sleep into it as well. And what that means is, stress can have you eating more because you think, oh, I'm stressed and I'm a bit run down, I want comfort food. And without going into all the hormones, there's a whole cascade of neurochemicals that send you craving when you get stressed. Some people don't eat when they're stressed, but chronic stress tends to have that effect. The other thing is with cortisol, the stress hormone, that will tend to have you hold body fat on your body. So you're putting in all this effort into your exercise, but you're not getting results because you haven't managed stress as well. So I tend to work with, let's get your diet right, optimize first, then let's look at appetite management with some very powerful ideas for balancing out those hormones, and then we look at your metabolism to get that fired up. But we can't forget stress and sleep, vitally important. And there's very, very clever ways you can manage that. And suddenly you go, wow, my cravings have gone.
Interesting.
Because you've managed all these components. And fair enough, you might not have done that in the past. You've just jumped on a diet or you've cut out sugar. But when you go, okay, I'm going to commit to doing it properly, wow. I've had people say, I've done so many diets in the past, and then they go, it's all just fallen into place for me, and that's really rewarding to see.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's what we want at the end of the day. You don't want to be looking for the next quick fix, constantly searching for the next diet, getting your highs, cutting out things, but essentially you need to eat sustainably for life. You're not going to long term.
We say that a lot, don't we? This is to learn how to eat for life and that sort of thing, but it's about then knowing, have I got a confident system to use to do that as well? Because when anybody, starts working with me for their diet, I think, I really hope this is the last time you diet.
Yeah.
Because what that means is this is the one that's going to fix it for you. And that's, I don't want you to just go through the churn and do it again and do it again next time. And people come to me and they say, this is the 100th time. Okay, this is the last time.
The final time, no, for sure. 3 steps in that we can take to get healthy. Like as of tomorrow, it doesn't matter what you've done before, but let's say, right, tomorrow's the day, we're starting fresh. First thing, we should plan, or we should go to the grocery store and fill up on fresh food.
Definitely. And even at the grocery store, if you filled up on fresh produce, you don't have as much room in your trolley for the rubbish, okay? So planning is number one. That's like a rehearsal for the success of your whole week. You plan, these are my meals, you've visualised, athletes visualise, and they pre-rehearse what they're going to do. That's the number one. Probably the second thing I'd say is, don't think of it calories and what you're doing without. Have a focus which is about what nourishment am I getting. So when you're having your vegetables, don't just think, oh, I've got to eat my veggies, they're low calorie. Think, these are giving me antioxidants, which are going to reduce inflammation, which in turn are going to balance my hormones. Because a lot of hormonal issues are to do with chronic inflammation. So it's saying nourishment. Probably the third thing, and there's lots more, but the third thing I'd say is habits. Just think of what's that one habit that if you do it each day, then a lot of other things will fall into place. Mine's never leaving home without a banana. So long as I go out, if I take my banana, I've got my snack ready, and it symbolises so powerfully I'm eating healthy.
Absolutely.
For you, it could be your snack of nuts. It could be a bottle of water, whatever it is. Because when you forget to do even that one powerful habit, it usually means you're off your plan, you're off the wagon, and just that one thing. Habits, vitally important.
Habits, and it does take time to form it, so just kind of day by day, but getting that support's important as well. So the great thing too is that I'm really excited you're now partnered with us for Metabolic Jumpstart. So we'll be helping lots of clients together to really boost their results with their exercise now in terms of nutrition and help to reshape and get energy again. A lot of people I know are just down on energy, and you know,
I mean, our life is so fast these days, and I mean, one thing people come to me and they say is like, oh, just tell me what to do really quickly and I'll do it, and that sort of thing. I think, oh, come on, I can make you do push-ups, but you've got to learn as well. And look, this is really exciting because you're so good at the exercise and motivating your clients to do and to burn the calories and get fitter and get toned. Working with you from the nutrition point of view, when I get it about metabolism and hormones, means great, because hopefully we'll be in really good sync, and then people go, oh, this actually works. And for anyone that thinks they've tried things before, I've got to say, push-ups take effort, learning how to use an eating system takes effort as well, but once you've got your head across it, you go, wow, it's so flexible, accountable and powerful, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited as well. And that's the thing, it's just, I think people just need to understand that, like you said before, the eating takes as much effort and energy and planning as the exercise, but for some reason a lot of us have dropped off the bandwagon with taking time and prioritising eating. We kind of just do it on the fly. So if we can bring it back to that with your help, that'll be fantastic. One more question. How much water are we supposed to drink?
Magic numbers, probably 2 litres a day.
2 litres a day.
But here's the thing, think in summer when you have watermelon. Watermelon, it's the only fruit you can eat, you can drink, and you can wash your face with if you want to. And it's just full of water. It's 80 to 90% water. So if you're having lots of fruit, you probably don't need the full 2 litres. So what I'm basically saying is, don't stress out if you're eating lots of high water content foods, like your broccoli with your salmon at night, because you could probably get away with 1.5 litres. The benefit of water, though, is that it will fill you up. So I do say, if you can have 500 mils of water before a meal, you're probably going to feel fuller sooner. So I'm going to use water strategically to help you get into shape.
Perfect. Well, that's a win-win situation, I think.
Yes, it is.
Really good to have you, and I look forward to catching up with you next time.
Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, guys.
See you, everyone.